Hi, everybody. Welcome back. You know, one question that we get asked more than any other question is, what is the difference between part X and the shadow? It's a great question, and I'm going to do my best to answer it in this video. But the first thing I want to say is, don't spend a lot of time trying to figure out the difference in your head. You know, the whole philosophy of the tools is important issues don't get solved by thinking. They get solved by using tools. And what that means in this instance is, instead of wondering, am I dealing with part X or am I dealing with the shadow, just pick one arbitrarily. I think it's part X. And then use the tools that are appropriate for that choice and see what happens. Over time, I promise you, you will begin to sense the difference inside yourself. Nonetheless, I think it's good to give you 3 factors that will help you differentiate between the two. The first factor is that there is nothing good about part X. It's just trying to sabotage you. In contrast, the shadow can be problematic, but it can also bring great strengths into your life that you never knew you had. So for example, if the voice inside of you is telling you you're worthless, you always were, you always will be, visualize that voice. If you're able to work with it and it morphs into something more positive over time, you're dealing with the shadow. But if it refuses to relent or work with you, that's part X. So that's the first basic difference. There's nothing good about part X. It can't be worked with, while the shadow can. The second difference is that part X wants to stay unconscious. It doesn't want a relationship with you. It actually wants to sabotage you from its hiding place in the unconscious. Whereas the shadow wants you to be conscious of it. It wants a relationship with you. The truth is, part X is anti-relationship in general. It doesn't want you to have successful relationships with other people. It doesn't even want you to have a relationship with your shadow. To put it another way, every time you fight part X, you're fighting for your shadow. So the first difference is there's nothing good about part X. The second is part X doesn't want a relationship with you, while the shadow does. The third difference is that part X remains static and unchanging throughout your entire life. It might change its tactics from time to time, but it doesn't evolve. It is always your enemy, always trying to undermine you. The shadow can evolve dramatically. From one day to the next, it can embody the full range of human emotions. Happy, sad, scared, lonely, awestruck. The shadow can even change gender. So that's a big difference between the two. Part X is monochromatic. The shadow embodies every color of the rainbow and probably a few colors we can't even see. So as I said in the beginning, ultimately, there's no way to answer this question on a purely intellectual level. The answer comes from the work. Sometimes my hunch is I'm dealing with part X and I use that set of tools. Other times I think that's the shadow and I use that set of tools. And the more I've done that, experimenting with 2 sets of tools, the more accurately I have been able to sense the difference inside myself. I really hope that's helpful, and I'll see you again soon.